As with any Pokemon game, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have a lot of fun facts, Easter eggs, and secrets to their names. And in this video, we're gonna go over some that I haven't covered before that you may not know about. So let's get into it. You know, ever since we got Crispin introduced in the Indigo Disc DLC, I've been feeling the cookin' vibes, which is why I am super excited about today's sponsor, CookUnity. As you may have noticed, I don't usually upload on Thursdays, and that's because this is a bonus video, and it was entirely made possible by CookUnity. CookUnity is a meal service that brings fresh, chef-prepared meals to your door each week, and gives you something delicious and fresh to eat without having to worry about any prep, cooking, or cleanup. I got to try some CookUnity meals myself recently, and they were genuinely awesome. You could easily see and taste how fresh everything was, it was all delicious, and probably my favorite thing about it is that you can heat up all the meals and have them ready to eat in 2 to 3 minutes, which feels kinda like a cheat code for meals that are this fresh and delicious. The subscriptions are super flexible as well because you can pause it, skip a week, or cancel at any time with no commitment to get meals every week. You can just do what works for you. There's also a wide range of meals offered with multiple dietary preferences included, such as vegan, paleo, and gluten-free. So no matter what you like to eat, they'll have something that you can enjoy. My favorite meal that I tried was probably the Mission-style chicken burrito from Chef Jose Garces, Iron Chef and James Beard Award winner. It was freaking delicious, and I love that they knew to include sauce too, because that just made the meal, and it was amazing. So if that sounds good to you, you could go to cookunity.com/hoops50 or click the link in the description and use my code hoops50 to get 50% off your first order of CookUnity meals to try them out for yourself. My taste buds enjoyed it, so I'm sure yours will too. And a big thank you to CookUnity for supporting the channel and making this bonus video possible. Okay, so since I am a huge fan of learning about the development side of Pokemon, let's go ahead and start there with a fact that has to do with Revavroom. Conceptually speaking, Revavroom is very similar to something that Ken Sugimori described in an interview during the Sun and Moon days in Generation 7. Revavroom is obviously a car, engine-based Pokemon, and in its Scarlet Dex entry, it says, it creates a gas out of poison and minerals from rocks. It then detonates the gas in its cylinders, now numbering 8, to generate energy. Well, in the National Pokédex Guidebook for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, it featured an interview with Ken Sugimori where he said the following. If we were going to make a Pokemon based on the motif of a car, for example, what would it eat? Would you make it able to suck up gasoline? How would it use the energy it got from that? How would it use that source of power? Even if the design is based on a car, a Pokemon is a living creature, so we would work over and over how to express its carness and what its source of energy should be. This statement almost perfectly describes what Revavroom is and how its Dex entry describes what it uses to generate energy for itself. So it's very possible that Game Freak had been working on the idea of a car Pokemon all the way back in Generation 7 when Ken Sugimori gave this interview, and were finally able to make it come to life in Generation 9 with Revavroom. Speaking of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, in Hypno's Ultra Moon Dex entry, it says that there are some Hypno that assist doctors with patients who can't sleep at night in hospitals. And in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, we actually get to see this in action as a real thing, as Miriam, the school nurse of Naranja and Uva Academy, uses a Hypno on her team in the Academy Ace tournament. We definitely read a lot of wacky and crazy stuff in the Pokédex, so it's really cool to see at least some of it actually represented in the games themselves. Another character that you can battle in the Academy Ace tournament is Tyme, who is a pretty cool character, since she's actually the sister of the gym leader Rhyme. She's currently a teacher at the academy during the events of the games and was once a gym leader herself, but she's not really required to be interacted with in the games, so you could also just pretty easily pass her by if you wanted to. With that said, a cool detail about her that you might not have picked up on because of this is that her hair resembles the shape of some laid down bricks, tying into her status as a rock-type specialist, which is a pretty nice reference. When it comes to people who you can battle in this game, there are probably none more popular than Larry, ironically enough. The normal type gym leader that is intentionally and literally designed to be as normal as possible has been an immediate fan favorite, but even though he's as normal as can be, he's also extremely unique, as he is also a flying type Elite Four member, and is the only character in the series to this point that has ever been both a gym leader and an Elite Four member at the same time. However, his very normal status is probably why he uses flying types as an Elite Four member, since the normal flying type combo, which are the two types that Larry uses as a gym leader and an Elite Four member, is the most common dual type combination in the entire series, and therefore pretty normal as type combos go. As a couple of bonus facts, his tie also features a cloud pattern, which alludes to his flying type specialty, and his ace Pokemon as a gym leader is a Staraptor, which sports that normal flying type combination that Larry seems to sorta be based around. There is no place in Scarlet and Violet that is more interesting than Area Zero though, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. A very interesting yet subtle reference to Professor Sada and Turo's death is actually possibly being made here, and it has to do with Floette. Floette can be found in the wild in Area Zero, but only in its white flower form. And in Japan, where these games were obviously made, white flowers hold a strong association with funerals, and also symbolize mourning and grief, which could be a reference to the death of the Professor characters. There's even another potential reference to their death in Area Zero as well, as there are a lot of moth-based Pokemon that can be found in this area, like Venomoth, Frostmoth, Iron Moth, Slitherwing, Volcarona, and Masquerain. Moths are seen in many cultures as a symbol of death as well, which could connect to the death of the professors. This could also potentially be a reason why Volcarona got two Paradox forms for both the past and future instead of just one. Another Pokemon that you can also find within Area Zero is Dudunsparce, and despite this Pokemon being a pretty big disappointment to most people, there is a neat little reference that it can claim. If you listen closely, you'll hear that Dudunsparce's cry is just a lower version of Dunsparce's cry, with a section of it repeated multiple times. This mimics how Dudunsparce is essentially just Dunsparce with extra segments added to its body. Similar to how there was a reference to the Teal Mask DLC in the base Scarlet and Violet games, there's also a bit of an indirect reference to the Indigo disc as well. The Pokemaniacs in this game are wearing shirts that have the PokeStar Studios logo on them, which of course is found in the Unova region, and that is also where Blueberry Academy in the Indigo disc is also located as well, likely hinting at what was to come in the DLC. A cool fact about Arven, amongst all of the other cool stuff about him, is that when he battles alongside you in double battles against all of the Titan Pokemon, his Pokemon actually have a chance of being shiny. They do not stay shiny, sadly, but they can appear as shiny, which is pretty cool and kinda harkens back to the days of Wally being able to encounter a shiny Ralts in the Hoenn games, or Professor Juniper being able to have a shiny Minccino at the start of Pokémon Black and White. Alongside Arven, you also, of course, see plenty of Nemona in the games as well, and one intriguing thing about her is that when you visit her dorm room, you can see what appear to be her gym badges from when she took on the Paldea League, on a shelf above her desk. But upon closer inspection, they don't resemble the gym badges that you earned during your adventure. In fact, they seem more similar to the more classic gym badges from Gens 1 through 4, but they don't exactly resemble those badges either, and actually appear rather basic compared to actual gym badges. They're also somewhat similar to ribbons as well, but they don't feature the literal ribbons on them, and they don't really resemble any known ribbons for the most part either. They could obviously just be generic placeholders since they are a background element, but their unique appearance is definitely intriguing at the same time. With that said though, did you guys know about any of these? I hope you learned something new. If not, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't yet for more. I'll be back with another new video very soon, and until then, as always, thank you guys so much for watching this one. I really appreciate it, and I will smell you guys later.